Du Bishu lowered his voice and said, Master Yang was originally from the Shaoju Peak lineage when she was young, and she and the first master of Shaoju Peak, Master Shuyu, were sisters, with a very good relationship. Later, for some reason, Master Yang, who was as delicate as a flower, ended up marrying our master. I heard that many male martial uncles of Qingyun Sect couldn't accept it. Double quotes. Theft. A chopstick hit Du Bishu's thread with considerable force, leaving a red mark. Startled, they looked up to see Tia Bai's angry face, with one chopstick missing from his hand. Du Bishu stuck out his tongue at Zhang Xiaofan, and both of them dared not speak again, blowing their heads to focus on eating. At that moment, Song Darren asked Tia Bai, Master, why hasn't Master Shuyu from the Seven Peaks come to the gathering convened by the true man? Tia Bai snorted, picked up another pair of chopsticks, and said, Isn't it because that old moon feigned illness, sending someone to tell the senior martial brother of the sect leader that she had a headache and fever and couldn't come? The sect leader believed it too. Humph. If she had come today, even if I couldn't snatch the good stuff, it wouldn't necessarily ... Double quotes. Fourth disciple He Dazi cleared his throat and whispered, Master, the Shuyu Peak has never accepted male disciples. Tia Bai paused, shook his head, and said irritably, And your master, as soon as she heard that Shuyu had some problem, immediately took Linger to see her, making a big deal out of it, as if the sky was falling. The disciples exchanged glances, all with pleased expressions. Song Darren hesitated for a moment before tentatively asking, Master, how long will Master Yang stay at Master Shuyu's place? Tia Bai glared at him and said impatiently, How long? She's going today, and she be back tonight. Sigh. The disciples sighed in disappointment, each with a disappointed look. Tia Bai looked around, snorted, and asked Song Darren, Did Master Yang guide you in your cultivation today? Before Song Darren could respond, second disciple Wu Dai interjected, Master, don't bother asking him. Senior brother ran away from the battle today. So shameless. Song Darren retorted angrily, Nonsense. I was just following the master's orders to help junior brother ... Double quotes. Sighed ... Double quotes. Everyone sighed in unison. The meal lasted for half an hour. After everyone left, Zhang Xiaofan intended to stay and help Du Bishu with the dishes. However, Du Bishu smiled and said, Junior brother, thank you, but I can handle it here. You won the bet with me, so rest assured, I'll help you cut bamboo tomorrow. Zhang Xiaofan felt a bit embarrassed and was about to say something when Song Darren's voice came from outside. Liu, don't help him. As the words fell, Song Darren walked in from outside and said to Zhang Xiaofan, Junior brother, come, I'll take you to your room. Zhang Xiaofan nodded, while Du Bishu asked from the side, Senior brother, what did you say? Song Darren replied, Junior brother has just started. He needs to lay a good foundation. It's not time to slack off. Du Bishu scratched his head and said, That makes sense. Junior brother, consider this time me owing you one. If you need anything in the future, just ask, alright? Zhang Xiaofan said, Senior brother, let's forget about it. Du Bishu's expression became serious, and he said firmly, What nonsense is this? Am I the kind of person who doesn't distinguish right from wrong, loyalty from betrayal? If I promise you something, I'll do it, or else I'll be laughed at by all the senior brothers. Zhang Xiaofan nodded, but still didn't understand what this had to do with distinguishing right from wrong, or loyalty from betrayal. Song Darren took Zhang Xiaofan's hand and said, Junior brother, come, I'll take you to your new room. The two walked out of the kitchen. It was already dark outside, and a bright moon was slowly rising in the eastern sky. They passed by the meditation hall, and Zhang Xiaofan looked inside, only to see that all the lights were out, pitch black except for the moonlight shining in front of the hall, giving off a somewhat airy feeling. After a while, they returned to the corridor where the disciples lived. Song Darren led Zhang Xiaofan to the last room on the right and said, Junior brother, the room you woke up in during the day is where I live. The other disciples live in the rooms on the right, and the 7 rooms on the left are empty. After a pause, he looked at Zhang Xiaofan and said, You'll be living alone. Are you scared? Zhang Xiaofan shook his head. Song Darren smiled and said, That's right. How can we, as men, be afraid of being alone? Come, let's go in. With that, he led Zhang Xiaofan into the room. Zhang Xiaofan looked at this unfamiliar, but soon-to-be long-term place. A small courtyard with a pine tree on the left and 5 or 6 bamboo trees on the right, each 2 or 3 meters tall. The courtyard was paved with small stone eggs, with lawns on both sides. When the night wind blew, the leaves and bamboo branches swayed gently, emitting a faint fragrance of grass. Serene and quiet. Song Darren opened the door and lit the lamp inside, saying, "Junior brother, come in." Zhang Xiaofan walked in and saw that the furnishings in the room were as simple and plain as those in Song Darren's room, with just a table, chairs, bed, and nothing else. Song Darren said, "I've cleaned up here today. You can stay here for now. Life in the mountains is simple and austere, and you are young, so you may feel lonely, but we cultivators must endure various trials. From now on, you'll have to take care of yourself in daily life." Zhang Xiaofan said, "Understood, senior brother." Song Darren nodded and looked around before saying, "Then I'll leave since there's nothing else to do. You've been tired all day, so rest early." Zhang Xiaofan replied, and escorted Song Darren to the door. Suddenly, he remembered something and asked, "Senior brother, why haven't any of the senior brothers come out for a walk now that it's dark?" Song Darren smiled and said, "You don't know. Most of us have been studying here on Dazhu Peak for decades. We rarely go out on weekdays, and we're so familiar with Dazhu Peak that we don't feel like going out. Like 4th senior loves to read, 2nd senior loves to hum tunes, and diligent ones like 3rd senior practice cultivation in their rooms and rarely come out." Zhang Xiaofan finally understood. Song Darren smiled and patted his head, admonishing him a few more words before turning and leaving. Zhang Xiaofan returned to the room, closed the door, and sat on the bed for a while. Unable to do anything, he blew out the lamp, took off his outer clothes, lay down, tossing and turning. He didn't know how long it had been before he fell asleep in a daze. In the darkness, Zhang Xiaofan let out a low cry, sat up abruptly, panting heavily. He had just dreamed of returning to the grass temple village, seeing his parents, seeing his childhood playmates, and other uncles and aunts, all happily together. But suddenly they all turned into corpses, blood flowing like a river, terrifying to the extreme. He trembled all over and woke up like this. He sat on the bed for a while, his breathing gradually calming down, his eyes slowly adjusting to the darkness. He saw the window slightly ajar, with a faint moonlight shining in diagonally, casting a frosty glow on the green brick floor. Zhang Xiaofan lost his sleepiness, got up, and walked to the door, creaked it open, and went out. All around was silent, with faint insect chirping from unknown places. One sound, 2 sounds, low and crisp, moonlight as water, shining on him. He looked up at the sky, only to see the stars twinkling, the moon directly above, bright and clear.